I realize I might be digging myself into a hole with this a little bit, but I plan on reviewing, analyzing, or at the least figuring out where every image submitted on my Discord comes from. Specifically the liminal space images tab, because you know, that's the content. However, with as many images as there are, obviously I won't be covering repeats, and I'm only going to cover full images, so no work in progress images, or half images, I guess you would say. It's going to go in descending order, starting with the first image that was submitted all the way back in May of 2021, when the Discord server was actually first created. Hopefully I'll be able to make my way down, but we've got quite the list to go through. If you choose to submit a photo now, just know I'm probably not going to be able to get to it for a long time. This video really only serves as a benefit to those in the community, or if you really enjoy liminal space image analysis. Because I don't really feel like I'm bringing anything new to the table besides myself. And just note that I didn't actually pick any of these. 100% of them were actually sent in by you all. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. But before we begin, actually, know that every image and submission is different. Most of the time, the images are of images people didn't make themselves. They just found them, which is fine. I mentioned this only because a lot of the first images that we're going to look at in this video are already popular liminal space images. Ones that you've definitely seen before, or you'll at the least recognize. It's just I want to give more attention to those who might have taken an image themselves or created their own liminal space, because you know it's their own. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So this first image was submitted by Gamer Code on May 14th, 2021. This, as I mentioned earlier, is a more popular liminal space image. It kind of sets the bar for what it can constitute as. The familiar elements, the unsettling lighting, and the unnatural framing. You'll notice that the lights in the image aren't actually turned on, yet there's a shadow being cast off this chair. So whatever light source this may be, it's not shown in the image. The text in the back is also unidentifiable, so we're unsure as to what or where this may be. I want to assume because of the chairs that it's some type of classroom or auditorium setting, yet the space feels so cramped and the ceiling looks so low to the ground that I can't even imagine this room being full of people. I would also like to mention that it's not particularly a bad thing that a lot of these first images are more popular ones. If someone's new to liminal spaces and they watch this, it can be convenient that they get to see some of the best ones, as I try my best to break them down. Like how well executed this one is with the lighting. Submitted by Ralph, this scene is fully illuminated and bright, as seen by the small shadow being cast behind the hanging light, this being the only shadow in the image. The washed gray walls and carpet make the space appear cramped, especially with the busy counter and the semi-small furniture. The hanging light also has this retro look to it, and bonus points for being able to see the cable hanging from the ceiling. Makes it look a little more disgruntled, you could say. Here we have an image that I actually fully covered in my liminal space water slides video, so I'll keep it somewhat brief, but in case you want a full breakdown of sorts and also see some other water slides, you can check that out. So this image contains an odd mystery of whatever's going on with this slide and whatever's on this little tiny TV, and it also has a selective color palette, being really only blue, gray, and white. Lastly, due to how small the room appears, the space once again feels cramped, even more so than the last one. Not to sound like a broken record, but once again, this is definitely a more popular one. I've actually talked about this image in various ways, not only in different videos, but in different live streams. So for the sake of this video and its integrity, I'll cover it once again, because, you know, that's the goal. So we're presented with this large and open empty space, as your eyes are naturally drawn to three different places in the image. First, the left side, having a more deep visual weight, with it being the darkest part of the image. And then the right side, similar to the left, but instead of being the darkest part of the image, it's actually the lightest. And lastly, the middle part, showing a staircase, which tells us that this is some sort of basement. I would consider this a classic gold standard liminal space image. It contains many mysterious elements, is framed extraordinarily well, and perfectly falls into the parameters. Like the image's resolution, this space feels small. The photo is framed super close to the light, which appears fairly large, especially when compared to the mattress. We're clearly in an enclosed space, meaning that this is the end of the building, or poor design. There's also less floor than mattress, adding again to that cramped feeling. The dingy quality with the flat colors and the slight noise captures the visual aesthetics usually seen in most liminal space images. Genuinely not knowing if this image was real or fake or not, I decided to reverse search it in order to at least figure out where or when it was initially posted on the internet. And as it turns out, this image is very real. It actually comes from a water treatment plant located in Germany, yet for some reason the entire webpage is in Cyrillic. Interestingly enough, the webpage also contains another fairly popular liminal space image, but back to the original photo. So the single light source mixed with the grainy quality and the cherry on top of the water being pretty close to the ceiling, this image just screams claustrophobia. The unidentifiable object in the top right corner also adds more to this mystery of a photo, and the still clear water juxtaposes the harsh environment of the overall image. Another small bedroom photo. This one has a lot more presence of human life to it. There's a lot more objects in the photo. However, they're unidentifiable, which makes it creepy. You'll notice that a lot of these liminal space photos, they'll only have single light sources. This one actually has two, however, but only one is present, being this window. The light is being blocked by the curtains, yet they're bright enough to seep through, giving this glowy effect. The placement of the window as well also reveals that it's actually located in a basement, meaning this room gets eerily chilling at night, especially considering the only light sources are natural ones. Here we have more of a shaky photo, or blurry. It seems to be shot outside some type of facility, in front of basketball courts or tennis courts. This leads me to conclude that this is either a school or prison, and judging by the fact that this is an up-close photo of the facility, albeit blurry, we can assume that it's probably a school. The framing of this image is well done, and it would be even better if it wasn't so blurry. The image is divided up into 4 parts, with the bottom being the green grass. Higher up we have the red court, then the yellowish whitish school, and finally at the top the cloudy gray sky. It's visually interesting, with the fence and trees having such deep colors our eyes can rest. So I've already covered this one once again in my Liminal Space Hotels video, so if you want to hear a full breakdown as well as see a lot more breakdown on images similar to this, you can go check out that video. So the most notable thing and off-putting thing in the image is obviously the TV that illuminates the room brightly. The curtains block the window, so we don't actually have any visible exits or entry points, especially considering the photo staged in the back corner of the room. It just doesn't give that hospitality that a normal hotel room would. It just feels kind of eerie and ghosty. Something that can work well with liminal space photos is repetition. With things such as repeating doors, windows, etc. This photo features all these chairs as they take up half the image. It works well because we know that this is a space that is literally made for human connectivity. We know that this is a panel or discussion or presentation of some kind. So the fact that there's the chairs here and the people are not, it doesn't look right. It also has a limited color palette similar to the water slide image, but this one only having red, yellow, black, blue, and white. It also has this washed, grainy look, giving it an extra sparkle. Or maybe in this case, dust. So this image here, submitted by Dark of All Traits, features blank mannequins in a small yellow room. At least the room looks small due to how low the resolution is of the overall image. Because of this, the image is unclear. We know that there are many mannequins in the middle, but it just looks like this weird mess. And with it being a liminal space image, featuring no people, I imagine the idea of being by yourself and isolated, yet surrounded by mannequins, would be pretty terrifying, especially if one were to have automatonophobia. I probably should have practiced that first. Automatonophobia, the fear of figures that represent humans. So things like wax figures or human-looking animatronics. Let me know what you thought of this format, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. The feedback would be much appreciated. I want to give a quick thanks, of course, once again to you all for the endless support. We finally made it to the end of January of 2022. Keep on going. If you have made it this far and you're still holding on to your New Year's resolutions, keep on going. It's one thing to say New Year's resolutions in the beginning of the year, and you can maintain it for 1 or 2 weeks, but as we go later and later in to the year, you know, life hits you, and it can be difficult. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing through, and we're gonna make 2022 our year. So thank you again for watching. I appreciate you listening out this far, and have a wonderful rest of the night. Oh, and as always, thank you for watching and take care.